gotta do this like a beauty guru so that everyone can see, so it focuses.
Nope, that ain't gonna be me.
No, you're not a beauty guru?
I'm not.
You don't want to do the winged eyeliner? So, explain for the people, what is this catch? I mean, it's a fish, obviously, but like
Yeah,
what?
So I'm chasing bass with this kind of a lure right here. But it will do
Largemouth?
others. Largemouth. It'll do smallmouth. It'll do pike. And that's kind of the big ones.
Okay. And what about this attracts a bass? Because, like, I don't know. There's so many different fishing lures. Like, this looks like a torpedo.
And this one, the original dark and gold together with that white underbelly, makes it look like a small minnow of some sort. And they kind of chase that. The way it goes through the water, it reacts semi-wounded.
Oh, okay.
And they will.
And then this is where the hooks are, like
yes,
these two.
The hooks hang from there. I figured it was a little dangerous for someone.
What, did you think I was gonna hook myself?
Yes, they're very sharp.
What about this weird blimp guy?
So this one has none of the hardware on it, but this underneath of here is a lip. It's a big lip, about that wide.
Oh my god.
And it goes through the water doing this the whole time. Making funky noises. And
oh, so it actually makes the noise that you were making earlier?
Yes, it's, it boop, 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 boop. That's what it does. And
that sounds like a lure that I designed.
It's a huge fish attractant, right? For them to come and figure out what it is. And
so what sort of, does this catch anything, or like
typically,
same bass?
Bass and pike will hit that as well, but typically largemouth bass.
Do you eat the fish?
I do on occasion, not always. It just depends on, do I have time to clean fish that night or not.
Ew. You get the scales everywhere?
I don't scale them, I fillet them.
Is that just, you just cut the piece right off?
Cut that piece of skin right off from them.
Okay, so I think basically what we're going to do is paint these with some nail polish, and I pulled out maybe a dozen and a half multi-chromes that I have. We went to a baseball game and my dad saw I was wearing this Great Lakes lacquer, which is The Sun Will Rise and Warm You Today, which is an Animal Crossing nail polish. And he thought it looked really cool in the sunlight, and that's how he came up with this idea to paint some of his fishing lures. So we're going to test it on two that he brought and took all the sharp parts off because he does not trust me. And see how it works and then report back, and then maybe in the future we can paint a few more. But I have a bunch of polishes here that you can kind of take a peek through, and I also have, this one it's a multi-chrome and it has glitter. It's called Lucky Charm, and it is scented. So it smells just like Lucky Charms. Yeah. So I don't know if fish like Lucky Charms, but I pulled that one out just so that you can check that out too.
Which, by the way, I still have not eaten.
You haven't eaten
Lucky Charms?
All those marshmallows?
Do you know how good those are in butter pecan ice cream?
Oh, butter pecan ice cream is so good. I'm surprised. I didn't think you'd be a butter pecan guy. It seems too fancy. Too bougie for you.
Too bougie? I don't even know how to say it.
Bougie? I don't know. I figured we'd pick a couple, we'd paint them, and then I have questions from the viewers for my father, which, by the way, do you want to introduce yourself? Because I was just calling you Mediocre Dad.
What an accurate statement.
That's not true. Because I'm Mediocre Manis, I was like, hey, Mediocre Dad.
I'm happy with my mediocrity.
People call Rob Mediocre Man, so. Which that one was fun.
I'm just Dad.
Okay.
Just Dad.
He's just Dad.
I think it's just that simple.
Everyone can call him Dad now. He is now your father as well. Now you have 3,000 more children.
Nice.
What are you going to do with all those kids?
Can't feed them all.
Somebody's going to have to starve.
Some of you are going to have to go hungry.
We could just eat peanut butter.
And, I mean, you should be able to notice she got her hair from me.
Yeah, here. Beautiful. Are you smelling my hair?
No. Mustache.
Oh, yeah, hair mustache. That's what I used to do. Yes. Whenever I imitate my dad, I always throw a little mustache on because that's all he's got left. You got a little back here sticking out.
Very low.
So which colors did you like the most, and why? What do you think they'll do for the fish?
So these two.
That's so funny.
You want to hold them?
Yeah, the Great Lakes lacquers.
So they rate the color changing hue of them and the flash along with them, right? I think may be something that the fish are attracted to. I have some other baits that are made of nothing but soft rubber plastic that...
like the worm guys?
That are very close to some of these colors, but you just can't get them in a hard, bait like this.
I guess, do you want to paint one and I paint the other, or do you just want me to paint them both?
I got my glasses on, so I could probably accomplish it.
Alright, we can try it. Do you want... Let me get a paper towel, just in case. I feel like that's the vibe. There's a paper towel.
Oh, you don't need one?
No, I'm just so talented and good at everything that I do. That's not true. Do you know how much nail polish I get in my hair on a regular basis? And then I have to cut it out?
How?
I don't know. Because I should put my hair up when I go to paint it, but I just I lean into everything. You know how I'm eating soup and I'm always putting my hair in the soup?
It's the thing to do. Everyone at home should try that.
So, I guess while we're painting them, I can ask you some questions from the viewers. So, I think one of the big ones was, what is your favorite Star Trek character? Because I did mention that we've hung out and watched Star Trek, and we went to the Star Trek exhibit.
So, which era?
Which era? Okay, let's just go show by show. TOS, original series, who's your favorite? And if it's not Spock, you're no longer my father.
Oh. I mean, Spock was good, but Scotty had...
Oh, yeah, Scotty's good. Is he still alive?
No.
Why is that always my first question? Is that actor dead?
James Doohan?
Yeah.
I think is...
The only one that's really left is Shatner.
Kirk and...
Oh, Takei.
George Takei.
The Next Generation, which was the one that we really watched.
I really liked Data's character.
Yeah, Data's
he was just, so computerized yet trying to be human, and, it just never worked.
Well, it's funny when you watch it now, with all the technology we have with movies and stuff like that, the caked on makeup that he has, the yellow makeup, it looks like you could wipe your finger through it and it would come away like frosting.
Yes.
Somebody asked, is it weird for you to have a child who is on social media, or is a social media influencer? Which, I don't know, influencer is a strong word.
Well, I am a different generation, so it's very different to me to put oneself out there.
Well,
that.
Yeah, you don't even have social media at all.
I do not. I'm really old.
Well, even Mom has Facebook and TikTok and
she does
and all that.
But I, the people I want to be in contact with, I am. I guess
you would have a flip phone if you could. I think.
I would. They're indestructible.
So, what do you think of my nail polish collection? Be careful.
Other than, it's just amazing how many colors there
exist.
are. And, it's amazing. It's an awesome thing, I think, because it's something you enjoy, and it helps you have something to do. Right? You've always been, ever since you were a little girl, you always wanted to be doing stuff.
I got my hobby freak from you, because you're a big hobby guy.
Yeah, I like different and weird things that are not mainstream.
That's true. That sounds shady though when you say it like that.
Yeah, not illegal.
Not illegal, just weird.
Just, I'm a little more of a geek than one might think. So.
Somebody asks, how would you describe me as a child?
Very busy, very active, bug lover.
I always have loved bugs.
My God.
Yeah, actually, somebody gave me... I always talk about bees in particular, but I don't think I've told them. I have a dead bug collection. I find them dead. I don't kill bugs. I don't believe in killing bugs. I think that it's rude. But no, one of my friends that I met online, her name is Danny. She gave me, I'll show you after, it's next to the computer, but it's a little trinket box that is like a beetle and it opens up. But she gave that to me at the nail polish expo, and I was like, I like this more than anything I got at the expo, and I spent a lot of money at this expo. So, if you could be a fish, which fish would you be?
I would be a barracuda.
Oh, gee, what, are you going to eat everything? Do they eat? They're carnivores, aren't they?
They are. They're just lightning fast saltwater fish.
Okay.
And they look crazy mean.
Somebody asked if you watch my videos.
Here and there, I do. I sit down and watch some. Obviously I'm of a certain age and not a big mani-pedi guy.
You're not into nail polish?
No one touches my toes.
Yeah. If you touch his feet, he will kick you. Not even voluntarily. He just will kick you.
Yep, there'll be a fight.
And as far as his nails go, I think, I have always wondered this. Does it freak you out when I have my nails really long?
No, because on you, right, it looks right a very, I don't know, they're always so nice and
filed.
Very,
beautiful.
Right, to a, more like a vampire's nails. Yeah.
But you don't like having long nails at all. Like, he cuts his nails like 4 times a day. I'm not exaggerating.
Well, but I don't have very strong nails.
Oh, yeah, you have really
Mine
thin.
are very thin.
Like brittle.
Brittle and fold over. And
Rob's nails are like a tree. They just grow in layers. I feel like he has some kind of vitamin deficiency or something. It's really scary.
Well, and they think some of that is just because I was premature.
Oh, yeah. You were like 12 ounces when you were born.
About 3 pounds.
3 pounds. That's close, right? No, there's 16 ounces in a pound, right?
Yeah. So there's 48 ounces.
Yeah, I had to. Did you see me trying to do the math?
I saw it.
It's like,
I saw it. It wasn't working.
Oh, my friend Nick says, "Why is she the way she is?" He's rude. Don't answer him.
Yeah, Nick. What do you mean by that?
He's a bully. He lives in Florida, so his life is hard.
Hey, bully Nick, lighten up. There's nothing wrong with the way she is.
Yeah, first of all. When was the first time you thought, my child is a little bit weird? Only mean this in a kind way. Now, was it the butter incident? I think everybody would like to hear about the butter incident from your perspective.
So, as a tiny, tiny human being, she liked butter. And it didn't matter if it was the tiny squares at dinner, right? She would peel them apart and run a finger through and eat them.
I don't remember any of this, by the way.
And so one day, right, in the refrigerator, when you open the butter, the big butter container, all you see is these 4 fingerprints right through it. Just swipe right through, and you're just like, oh my God, that child, she's gonna have bathroom issues today. But she never did. But then we caught her one day, right, with the butter dish going right through it.
Ew!
Just, that was probably the day.
What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
Biggest one I ever caught was a carp, and it weighed 14 or 15 pounds. So
is that big for a carp? I don't know.
It's decent size, but it was one of the strongest I've ever caught.
Well, did Hillary eat dirt? No, that's my friend Stacy.
So she didn't eat dirt.
Okay.
But she did eat something else.
What did I eat? Oh, fuzzies.
Yeah. She would pick any kind of lint up off the floor, and it went right in her mouth immediately.
It's like a texture thing. I don't know what it is, because people on my channel, I got this sugar scrub that's like, like for your legs or whatever. But I was like, does this actually taste like sugar? Like, is it really sugar? So I ate some on camera, and people were like, why did you do that? And so I don't know. It's like, sometimes it's like a texture thing. I like to just chew on stuff. How much of this is from Nail Lacquer Therapy. I'm going to call her out because she's a pretty big YouTuber. How much of a pain in the ass was Hillary growing up?
I mean, that's funny.
I was a great child.
I would be interested if you would put something in her comments of why you think she would be a pain in the ass. Because honestly, my kids were very mindful growing up. She just wasn't an angry teenager per se, right? I mean, there's normal things, but
no, I just cried a lot.
No, I don't don't think you were. You were not.
I wasn't angry,
You were not like your classmates.
I was not a rule breaker, surprisingly.
Right? So, to me, right, the rule breaker is a pain in the ass, and you really weren't.
I was afraid to break rules. Like, I was, until I got into college, really, I was very much like I have to follow all the rules all the time or else I'm going to get in trouble. Like, I just didn't like that. And my siblings are the same way. But I think that people think because I'm really obnoxious online, they probably think like I was obnoxious as a kid, which I was, but my whole family is obnoxious. So that's just kind of the vibe.
Yes, very much so.
What is your favorite memory of us together?
Oh man, there's a lot of them.
I can tell mine.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we used to go to coin shows was it before or after Thanksgiving?
Right before.
It was right before Thanksgiving, and it was this big hotel. It was like a Hyatt, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't like
down in Dearborn.
because he collects or used to collect. I don't know if you really do anymore.
Not like I did.
But like older American money and like silver and things like that, and he's pretty knowledgeable about it. He's a numismatist. How do you say it? Numismatist. I had to look it up the last time I tried to say it. And so he would take me with him, and we would drive down there, and we would always get like donuts in the morning and like stop at the party store and get like a drink or something, and then walk around the show floor and grab lunch and then walk around a little more and go home. But there was one year in particular, I remember, first of all, for lunch we went to Sbarro's, which I had never had before, so I'd never seen a piece of pizza that big. And I don't know why, I just remember the giant slice of pizza. But I won like the door prize, and then some guy paid me like $20 to put flyers on everybody's table, and I won a couple other things. And then when you're a kid in a hobby that is, no offense, like populated by old men, people really want to encourage kids to be active in it. And so people would either give me stuff for free or like really cheap. And so it was like the time of my life, and my dad knows a lot of stuff. So it was just really fun to walk around, and he always involved us in his hobbies to the same degree that we wanted him to be involved in ours. And so it always felt like a constant back and forth. Whereas like a lot of my friends growing up, their dads were very cut off, and they didn't join them in their hobbies, and they didn't share their hobbies with them. So I felt like, we always shared like video games and like even my hobbies now, which are, particularly feminine, like nail polish and cross stitch. You still take an interest in it, even if maybe you don't fully like immerse yourself in it. And so it's like something that I feel like a lot of people don't have with their dads. So I always really liked that. And auctions. We would go to auctions together a lot.
Yeah, that was us being nerds and geeks. So one of my favorite memories of Hillary was she was young, and a good friend of hers at the time got melanoma, right?
Oh, yeah.
They had a big spaghetti dinner to, help cover some of the costs, for the family, because they were not the most well off, and lots of people were there that we all knew. And then they were having a drawing for it
was a huge basket of stuff, but it had a Nintendo DS in it, and that was right when the DS came out.
It was right, huge. And who wins? But Hillary wins. And she took that DS out of that package and she gave that to her friend, even though she wanted it very badly. She did. And to me, that tells you right there, right, that what her character is, and right, it was then and still is today. She's a very thoughtful and kind person, no matter how she might act on her YouTube. But she is. To me, that's honestly one of my fondest memories, because anytime I saw that young lady again, I always thought of that.
And then Granny got me a Nintendo DS for Christmas that year, so it worked out. You can put the polish a little closer to you if you want. Okay.
I was fearful.
I've knocked a few over in my time. It happens. And I have like 2,000, so if one spills, it's like, it's not that big of a deal. Some people have collections bigger than mine, and they buy backups of stuff. And I'm like, how do you go through anything? All right, somebody asked, what is the coolest thing you all have found doing metal detecting? That's a tough one.
So Hillary found the first silver coin.
That was a Mercury head, right?
That was actually a Roosevelt dime.
Oh, was it a Roosevelt dime?
I have in a holder for it.
I remember, yeah.
So she found that when we were up north at a good friend's cabin. So that was really neat. And then she used to go a lot to the various schoolyards with me. But then as someone became a teenager and way too cool.
Okay, first of all,
to be seen.
Here's the thing. Here's what my dad looks like when he's not detecting. He's got those washed out pale blue dad jeans and one knee pad. Only one, so that when he kneels down, he doesn't get those washed out jeans dirty. And then the headphones for metal detecting are like this big. They're huge. And then it's like a lone man wandering around a schoolyard with a single knee pad. I mean, you can't imagine. Like, that does attract children in the weirdest way. Not that he's doing anything weird, he's just digging holes, but it's just like sometimes. And then there was one time we all went to the park with you, and I was playing a game with my brother and sister, and I ran full speed into a basketball hoop pole and got a huge black eye, and ever since then I've never wanted to go outside, so.
Like the gong from this pole was
like. Oh my god.
Like I don't know if I can do it.
I know, I'm always like, where am I in this game?
Right? The gongs that are like 2 feet across. That's what it sounded like. It just resonated forever. And it was her face. I remember,
like, being on the ground with no recollection of how I got there and hearing this ringing, and I thought it was my ears, but it was the pole reverberating because I had hit it so hard. And yeah, that was the only black eye I've ever gotten. That was wild. What are your... we got a lot of people asking about metal detecting. That's funny. We found a few rings, too. Rings were always cool.
Yep, rings.
Because he always gives the silver ones to me, because I like silver a lot. Yep. I'm trying to think of anything else.
Just
weird sheets of
lots
metal.
Lots of old, old coins. That's kind of what I chase.
Yeah.
To me, that's interesting. But rings are always neat. You've had several of them, haven't you?
Yeah, I still have them. They're all in my jewelry box.
Your mom has a few that she wears.
Yeah, they're cool. Yep. And they're always like a little bit bent out of shape because they've been in the ground. And I really like that kind of like bent up aesthetic. Like it's like worn and used. So it's cool. It's got some history.
They even made her a ring.
Oh, yeah.
An old silver quarter.
That was cool.
Yeah.
We hit those quarters with spoons forever.
Hours.
That was the noise. Because the silver is like soft enough that if you take a spoon and you like smack it, you can shape it and then just drill a hole in the center. I think Mom was going to kill us.
Yeah, she was.
Because it was me, you, and Eric.
Yes. And if you wonder what that looks like, look up silver coin spoon ring.
Yeah, they're easy to make.
Something like that, and
just annoying.
It's kind of neat how it does it. But
do you have a favorite Weird Al song? I was the Weird Al freak.
Yeah, you were kind of the Weird Al freak. But he started when I was young.
I know, yeah. Did you watch the Weird Al movie? Not UHF. He made a new one. Oh, no. We'll have to watch that.
So most of his stuff that, like, where he did, Michael Jackson impersonations, I always thought those were really good.
Somebody asked where you grew up. We both grew up in Michigan.
Yep.
He grew up in the same town that I grew up in.
Yep.
And then we've both since left.
Just a small town.
Well, it's a village, actually. People make fun of me when I call it a village, but it's a village, right?
It's considered a village.
There we go.
Yeah.
See? Proof.
So I was in the Army with a guy who, he just was amazed that there were so few people in this village. And he would tell me, his name was Vega, yo, us, I got more people on 3 floors than you got in your entire village. And he was probably right. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think I looked it up once, and it was like between 700 and 800 people, and that's including like the outskirts, not like the suburb area where we lived. And I always tell people, I'm like, we have a blinking yellow light, and that was about it.
That's it.
People don't believe me when I'm like, look it up, it's a village. And then when I moved away to college, I was like, this is the biggest city I've ever seen. People thought I was crazy. What is the worst habit Hillary has picked up from you? I know what it is. Time. Being on time.
Yep.
You gotta be 15 minutes early or you're late.
Or you're late.
Well, it's like when you guys were coming out today, they hit construction, and my mom is texting me, and she's like, we're gonna be late, and they were literally 5 minutes late, and I was just like...
And then we were late.
And it was like, not that big of a deal, but it's like, I get it, because I was like, why are they texting me? It's not a big deal, but I know that if you hadn't showed up at noon, I would have been texting you, being like, where are you guys?
See? So...
Oh my gosh. What was the hardest thing about being a parent to us, to me?
So honestly, it hasn't stopped. The hardest part is, being afraid. It really, you're always afraid something's going to happen, I think.
Yeah.
It's probably the hardest part. Because she's 30 years old. And it's hard.
Don't tell them I'm old.
Okay. But it's hard as a parent to, forget about that part of, you're afraid something's going to happen or go wrong, or you want everything to always be right for them. It's impossible to do, but in your mind, you want it for them so bad. And yet, she's 30. She's made adult decisions since she went, to college and done very well. She's never, made really, really bad decisions, but I think just the fear as a parent, that's the hardest part.
Well, you don't have to be afraid, because I literally called you because my tire was flat yesterday. So I was like, Dad,
but
please.
Those are easy. Those are easy fixes.
No, I mean, I feel like maybe in college I had a lot of stuff, but that really definitely was tough. And I'm sure it was tough for you to watch me go through it and not know what I was doing. But I feel like since I've gotten older and I've realized, how to take care of myself, I feel like a lot of that stuff has really diminished. And
for you.
For me, yeah.
For you.
I guess for you it's hard because you grew up with me being a complete disaster.
You're not a disaster.
I was an emotional child.
Well, I think everybody has emotions.
Yeah.
Right? But it's just, if you're not a parent, you don't really think about that until you are a parent. And then, it's tough. Her little brother was in an accident, and he had hurt himself, really bad. It took a long time as a family just to navigate that.
I think even now still
he's fine.
Yeah.
But, that's a fear that when you're 20 and you don't have kids, you don't even think about that, right? You just don't.
It's funny though you say that, because it's like, obviously they're my siblings, not my kids, but it's like I feel that way. Like, I was driving home the other day and I thought about all the memories I've had with Eric, and I was like, if he had died that day, I wouldn't have even known what I missed out on.
Yeah,
and it's crazy to think all the good memories that I've had with him, and just the three of us, and as a family in general. And it's like, I can't even imagine what our family would have looked like if things had gone the other way. We're lucky to have you, Eric.
Wherever you are.
Yeah.
Right now.
Somebody said I hit the lottery with my dad. I always talk about you on the channel because we have so many overlapping stuff.
What does she say?
I say only good things. I don't even do the mustache thing when I talk about you.
What?
I know. Because I don't mimic you on the channel. I do mimic Mom sometimes. What was the first video game you could not stop playing, and what drew you into video games?
Well, I was, among the earliest generation. So Space Invaders.
Oh my gosh.
Was really the first one.
I can't imagine that being the game.
That was right. It was the game, and it was basically right after Pong. So that one really got it started. My favorite one is Missile Command.
Not Galaga?
And Galaga.
He's a Galaga dad. Everybody's dad is good at Galaga, I think.
So, I loved Galaga. I spent way too many hours.
You still do whenever we're in an arcade.
Playing that. So, that was my fave.
I like this one. How did you choose my name?
So, in high school, I had a good friend, and her name was Hillary, and she was who you see here.
Hilarious.
She was a very kind and caring person, and I just always liked her name. We went with that.
Now tell them how you picked the middle name to go with it.
Well, I mean, you gotta, if you're gonna yell at your kid out the back door, you gotta have a name that rolls right off your tongue, right? So that's part of the process for a parent. Think about that when you have kids.
Yeah, so they practiced yelling our first and middle names to make sure they sounded good. Well, so
Elizabeth came from Elizabeth, my friend from high school as well.
Well, Hillary Elizabeth, you picked the 2 longest names possible.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, I was afraid of my middle name because it had a Z in it, and I was like, that's really exotic. And I didn't know how to spell it until like middle school because I was so afraid of it. We can do a couple more. How tall is your dad?
Now that ain't funny. Well,
he's shorter than me.
I'm shorter than her. I think at one time I was 5'8". I'm shrinking.
Were you? Wait, how tall are you now?
I might be only 5'7" now. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to stand next to each other.
I have not.
Did I tell you I went to the doctor a couple years ago, and I've always been 5'10", and then they were like, oh, 5'9 3/4", and I was like, no. I said, no, put it down as 5'10".
Do not accept.
I got so sassy, and she was like, oh, okay, and so they put it as 5'10". I was like, absolutely not. I'm devastated that I didn't break 6 feet. I feel like I should have. I feel like I got stunted. Okay, people want to know if you have any other hobbies. We can leave it at that.
I like to golf.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. I like to fish. Metal detect, right? That's kind of my 3 big ones.
Those are the big dad. The dad trifecta.
Yeah. And, New Balance. Yeah. I'm all in.
My dad is a big New Balance guy. Wait, but only one pair, right?
Okay. 608s.
He buys 2 pairs every time he buys them. So he's always got a backup. He's a literal cartoon character.
I think they're jealous.
You're just mad because you want my Crocs.
No. That's way too much color for me.
You can get plainer ones.
You see what I got going on?
Oh, yeah. He's got the X-Files shirt on. You can't really see it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he got me into X-Files. We watched a lot of, sci-fi. Yep. That's what I got tattooed on my leg.
Have they seen your poster?
Oh, yeah, I showed that. When I finished it, I showed it.
That should be right there.
I know, but I need you to hang it up. I've been waiting for you to come over. Yeah, so, and then, what else? Reading is another one.
Love to read. Yep.
I used to golf with my dad until I hit a guy, and then I never golfed again.
She whacked him.
And
we yelled 4.
Like twice. Each.
And he just looked at us.
He just went like this.
And it hit him right square on the top.
Oh, and you could hear it too.
Oh, it sounded bad.
And I never golfed again. I like to drive the golf cart and drink the beer, and that's what I do.
Yep.
I'm the worst caddy. And I think that's about it. I was gonna say you don't do anything else, but those are all big hobbies.
Yeah, they can be very time consuming if you want them to be, which in retirement.
I know, you're gonna be doing that. I just can't wait to retire too, so all I can do is paint my nails and cross stitch.
So I'm gonna be watching this, and I want you guys to tell me about your weird hobbies.
Yeah, tell us about your weird hobbies, because there's somebody that I talked to on Instagram. She's a certified, I can't remember what she called it, but basically it's like a professional cheese person. And there's not many in the world. Oh. But she literally,
cheese taster?
Maker? I don't think she makes it, but, it's almost, she said it was like a sommelier, but for cheese. So, she knows, all this stuff about cheese, so I've been just asking her random cheese questions. But she said there's not very many in the world, and I was like, that's pretty intense. So, if you have a weird hobby like that, that's what we want to know. Yeah, is there anything else you want to tell the people? The people, my huge following.
Hillary's peeps. Nope. I think that's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my dad and the Q&A. And, I guess we should the whole point of this was to show the lures, and we barely did that. So here's the final lures. This is the one that he said was for bass. I remember that part. And I painted this one with The Sun Will Rise and Warm You Today.
So it might be hard to tell the color difference in these two.
I promise they're different.
They're very different.
Yeah. See, even he's defending that the polishes are different. This one is like a green to blue, and that one's like a blue to green. So it's fine. But yeah, when you get them home, I guess you'll peel off the tape and put the hardware back on.
Yes.
And then he will report back on if they worked or not, and I will let you guys know if he caught more or less fish due to this experiment. All right, that's going to be it from us. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.